Receiving application from our departments to embark on these excursions. I think last year they went, and this year they want to make another trip. They brought an application to us, and we saw that it happened to be an inter-regional excursion. So as a headmaster of the school, I had to refer it to the appropriate quarters because going to the regional level, it falls beyond my capacity. So this was referred to the regional director of education through the municipal director of education. They all accepted it because they had satisfied all conditions concerning the trip. So they were given the approval and also advice on the necessary safety precautions, which they did. So getting the approval, and it was forwarded to them. That's why they are back on the trip on just last Friday. Last Friday, it was supposed to be a 2-day trip. But according to the laws of Ghana Education Service, you can't travel beyond 6 p.m. So we learned as at Saturday when they had finished, in fact, it took them to the Upper East, Paga. Then they came all the way through the north again. So Saturday, they didn't finish early. So they would have been caught in the dark. So that made them to suspend their return trip to Sunday.
Now, the tourism minister has meanwhile disputed media reports that it will not close down the Kintampo waterfalls. The ministry in a statement announced that the place will remain shut indefinitely to allow them carry out safety audit of the site and all other tourist sites across the country to ensure the place is safe for use. She spoke earlier on the Pulse.
Well, I'm not sure who gave the previous stance. We went there 2 days ago, and we made the decision yesterday after being physical on the site. We ascertained that it was prudent to close it and actually take a safety audit, and not just at Kintampo, but across the nation, one site at a time, to ensure that no lives will be lost again to either natural disasters or man-made disasters. So it's only one decision that has come out of the stakeholder engagement that happened at Tampo and Ranchi.
Meanwhile, the Bureau of Public Safety is asking the Ministry of Tourism to shut down not only the Kintampo waterfalls, but all other tourist sites that have not undergone 12 months of risk assessment and safety audit. Nane Akwada is the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety.
Yes, it is feasible, and let me just correct it. We want all facilities that are tourist sites that have not undergone a safety audit within the last 12 months to be slated for an audit immediately. The first is we are calling for a closure of all such facilities pending such audit, and after which we can open such facilities up for access by the public. Now, there are two reasons why we are making this proposal. One is to send that word out there strongly and without any ambiguity, that as a state, we are dedicated to promoting our own, promoting and preserving life. And so that closure is going to send that signal to all managers of such facilities. And then we are going to undertake this audit, after which we'll be able to say this facility is in compliance, that is not in compliance, or this facility is safe, that is not safe, and these are the things they need to do in order to get it operational.
We're staying in the region where Member of Parliament for Banda, Ahmed Ibrahim, is assuring civil servants, especially teachers, of maximum security at Banda Ahenkro despite threats to attack them. The MP consequently appealed to teachers and health workers who have abandoned the town to return to continue their work. The Banda MP, who has been touring basic schools at Banda Ahenkro, encouraged teachers who are still at post to remain steadfast and carry on with their duties. Nestor Kafuya Joma's report.
Even though school children in Banda Ahenkro were happy to meet their MP, they were disappointed because their studies have stalled due to the absence of teachers. According to Member of Parliament for Banda Ahmed Ibrahim, there has not been any ethnocentric attack in Banda Ahenkro throughout his lifetime. He is therefore calling on the people to stay calm as the police stabilize the situation.
Most of the teachers who help us to go to where we are now were not from this place. And therefore it will be wrong for anybody to be spreading that allegation. So what the assurance we are giving to the staff is call your colleagues teachers to come back. We are solidly behind you. Nothing bad can happen to anybody. And if it happens, all the chiefs and the traditional leaders and the modern governance leaders responsible. We are ready to give you all the necessary support. All the youths will have their support. And the bad people who are spreading that allegation, I know the good Lord that we are all serving them will bring them out. So don't entertain any fears at all.
A Form 2 student of Banda Ahenkro Roman Catholic JHS, Morgan Terrier, says the ethnocentric attack has been a great disservice to the community, affecting especially school children.
Our teachers are not around, so we feel worried because all of us are here and we are playing together, laughing together, and the teachers do things. So we are begging them to come back so that the learning to continue.
For now, school children and the people of Banda Ahenkro are counting on the police to restore confidence in them to enable the civil servants return to their post. Nesta Kafu Ajomes report for Joy News.
Watching JoyNews Prime, still to come in the bulletin. Ghana Water Company rolls out plan to make potable running water available in all homes at Choko, one of Accra's densely populated and underserved communities. We'll be back with all that and more. Stay tuned. In June 2015, then Mayor of Accra, Alfred Okoh took a bold step to permanently create enough space for pedestrians in the central business district of Accra when he drew red lines on pavement. He says traders and hawkers are not to breach in displaying their wares. That way, he says, pedestrians would have free access to the pavements and thereby avoid walking on the roads and interfering with motorists. JoyNews' Hannah Dame was at the Central Business District a year after the initiative to see if the red line really did the trick.
So last year, the AMA came up with a red line project. This was to ensure that pedestrians have the pavement to themselves for free passage, and also to ensure that the traders do not sell beyond the red line. But a year on, we are back in the Central Business District of Accra, and we have noticed that a lot of the traders are back selling beyond the red line. What exactly is the excuse of these traders?
Some have disobeyed it, and some are also with a line. Yeah, the people are many, those selling are many. If you tell them come back, they'll tell you that's what they say. But it's with human being. You give them a step, they take it a yard. That's how it is.
Now you yourself, have you crossed the line?
No, you can see my market. I've not crossed it. I'm right at the line, behind the line. If someone push you, you insult the person. And because of our safety, that's why they gave us the line, so that we all sell. So if you cross it, we are crossing the barrier. That's the thing.
I'm passing by and I hit your stuff, you will insult
that's
me.
The thing. They will insult
but you've
you.
been giving
But you've been giving a red line too, but we don't obey it. So we human beings too, it's from us, our fault. Me, I've been telling them, go use the AMA as favors. First, we'll not even put the market. Now they say we should put it. So what are we supposed to do? We should put the market. No, we won't do it. So it's from us too.
I just stop. And anyway, no,
we all cannot go for shops. That is why we sit here to sell. We try not to sell beyond the red line. This is why the authorities no longer worry us to leave this place anymore. Before the election, they used to seize our items. But since Nanado won the election, no one has come to ask us to leave this place.
and who exactly is ensuring that this policy or project is effectively implemented year in and year out. We'll try and get some answers from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. From the Central Business District of Accra, my name is Hannah Odami for JoyNews.
Well, we got some answers from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, which says it is committed to implementing the red line policy it initiated a year ago. According to the head of public affairs at the Assembly, Numo Blafo, management of AMA has met with leadership of the hawkers who have agreed to comply with the directive. The red line policy seeks to streamline the activities of hawkers in various markets in the capital and allow motorists and pedestrians freedom to move. The AMA says though it is willing to allow hawkers some space along the streets to operate, their indiscriminate activities violate its bylaws as well as road safety regulations. Now, each house at Choco, one of the heavily populated suburbs here in the Greater Accra region, will soon have running taps thanks to an arrangement sponsored by the World Bank. At a sensitization dialogue in the community Tuesday, the Ghana Water Company Limited solicited ideas from residents on the project whilst also educating them on their roles and responsibilities. According to the Accra West Regional Director of the company, Peter Devier, the World Bank has provided $48 million for the supply of treated water to deprived homes, especially along the coast, as a means of reducing water-related illnesses.
Choosing this community because we want to have interaction with the communities, especially the deprived communities. And there's a program which is sponsored by the World Bank, that is GAMA. It's assisting us to extend water supply to underprivileged communities. And we have identified the communities along the coast as the underprivileged. The access to water supply is not the best. So with the facility that World Bank has given us, we are extending water supply to such communities. So we are meeting with the communities to let them know their roles and responsibilities so that they will be partners and they will move together. Because most of these communities hardly do they have direct connections, that's connection to the houses. Most of them are public stampers and individuals who have access and they are selling the water to them. But we are thinking that with this facility, every household should take advantage because the connection is subsidized. So you apply for water connection so that you have water to your house and you think it's cheaper. So that instead of going to somebody's house to buy, you can have water and it's much cheaper because the person selling is making profit. Yeah.
What exact facility has the World Bank provided Ghana Water?
Well, the World Bank has given a monetary support to enable us. What we're doing is that we are extending water supply along the coastal communities and some endemic underprivileged communities in Accra. That is Gama, the Greater Accra municipal areas. So we have identified this community as a beneficiary. So the World Bank is bringing monetary support, and Ghana Water with our technical know-how and the facilities that we have now, we are extending the water to the communities.
How much exactly?
Now, Ghana will have to import treated water if the incidence of Galamsey is not tackled. This claim by the Accra West Regional Director of the Ghana Water Company, Engineer Peter Devier, comes a day ahead of World Water Day. According to him, Galamsey has so terribly polluted water bodies in the country, it costs a fortune to produce potable water. Production at some of the treatment plants have ceased completely after the company exceeded internationally accepted levels of chemical usage. Mr. Devier was speaking to JoyNews at a community dialogue program at Choco here in Accra.
Ghana, we have a particular challenge. It's with the Galamsey and the way it's affecting our water sources. The cost of water treatment is going way off our budget. And when it gets to a point when, because there are standards, World Health Organization and the Ghana Standard Board standards that we have to meet before the water gets to the community. So if the cost of treatment is becoming too much and the chemical dosage is also becoming too much, we have to stop because we cannot go beyond the limit because it will be.
You have to stop producing.
Yes. So that's why, yeah, that's why we have stopped treatment in some of the treatment plants because then we cannot exceed the threshold or the chemical dosage because it may impair the health of the people. And then Ghana Standard Board will not allow it, and World Health Organization will also not allow it. So we have cases where we have stopped treatment. Kibi, for instance, there was time we had to stop treatment for a whole year for the river to recharge itself. And then just last 2 weeks, there was a case in Takoradi also. We have to stop treatment. Yeah, for the quality to, because when it starts raining and the activities of the Galamsey takes a lower tide, then the water will recharge itself. We have to get a minimum quality of the raw water before we put, because the dosage of the chemical, too much of it will be too bad.
So since when did we recognize that we are producing water at a very costly these days?
Yeah, no, Galamsey, the activity started gradually, but now it's like everybody is coming on board because there's the money aspect of it. It's becoming attractive. So this is about the time we have to put our feet down and stem the tide, because it's stretching to almost all the river bodies that we have. And we are everywhere. Where we have a water source, we are there to treat for the community. But
the Ghana Water Company, meanwhile, says it has introduced an e-billing system to ensure efficiency in billing and payment. Mr. Devier explains further.
It's a program that we are running currently on a pilot scheme. What we're doing, we want to get the contact number of every customer that we deal with. So we're starting in Accra, the 2 Accra regions, Tema, Western region, Central region, and the 2 Kumasi regions, and the Western region. So what we're doing is, usually we have difficulty in accessing the customer's property to read the meter and to deliver the bills. So most of the customers, at times when you go and they are not there, they leave the bills under the gate, and then it flies off. So at times when you go to disconnect a customer, the customer says, I have not had your bill, so what's the point? So what we're doing is we want to both deliver the hard bill, that's the paper, and then we want to send the bill also through your phones, because Ghana, almost everybody has a phone now. So what we're doing on the pilot basis, what comes on the phone is the same as what comes on the card. So we want the customer to get that confidence, deliver that confidence that whatever comes on your card is what comes on your phone. So we're running this for about 3 to 6 months. When the confidence is there, then so the customer knows that when he even doesn't get the bill, what he gets on the phone, he can walk to the nearest Ghana Water pay point and pay, or the nearest bank, pay point and pay.
After some back and forth, Parliament's Appointments Committee has finally indicated it will not be able to vet all 54 nominees appointed to President Akufo-Addo's government before it rises at the end of this month. Though the majority had been pushing for all the remaining appointees to be vetted, the committee says it can only do 19 for now, meaning the president will not have the full complement of his government for a while. Committee member Al-Hassan Suyini tells JoyNews members agreed the rest would undergo vetting when the House returns from recess in the middle of May.
We had a few problems agreeing on the number of people to vet a day. The proposal was for us to do 10. We thought it was unreasonable because even if you were going to dedicate 2 hours to each nominee, which is not adequate in some cases, you would have had us sitting for 20 hours on the average, and that is just impossible to do. And so finally the agreement that I'm told we have is that we'll do 4 next week Monday, and then on subsequent days,
which will be the ministers of state.
That'll be the ministers of state. Then the following day we'll do 5, and we will stick to doing 5 a day, but we will go on recess and come and continue in May. The number is just too much. It's not our fault. We want to help them form a government as soon as possible, but based on what the numbers we are presented with, it's a record number, and it's just difficult for all of us to manage. I think that if we had less numbers, we wouldn't have had these problems that we are going to have to face vetting them.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has announced he and his colleagues will go to the Supreme Court to challenge government's decision to review downwards the state's allocation to the District Assembly's Common Fund in the 2017 budget statement. He is asking the Finance Minister to increase the allocation or face the minority in court. Mr. Idrisu insists the 1.5 billion cedis allocated to the DACF falls short of the 5% stipulated in the Constitution.
The same Ministry of Finance comes to this house and say we are capping the District Assembly Common Fund. That capping will affect the availability of this $40 million to support as counterpart to get the DDF moving, which we have all been told have proven to be very beneficial and useful in building the capacities and getting the assemblies efficient. Mr. Speaker, and by this 7 notice that we intend to invoke the exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court on this matter to seek an interpretation of the difference between total revenue as defined in Article 252 of the Constitution and also total revenue as defined in the Local Governance Act 936 of 2016, and then in particular to relate it to the Minister's quest to dedicate 5% of tax revenue. So you have a certain confusion whether it's the Constitution says not less than 5% of total revenue.
In response to the minority leader, Deputy Majority Leader Adjoa Safo challenged the section of the Constitution a colleague MP used to make his point.
On the capping of the common fund and the enumeration made by the minority leader is taken in good faith, but also to set on point. He made the correction himself when he was doing his submission, that there's no law that pegs it, the capping at a 5% or 7.5%. There's no such law. It has already been a government initiative and policy on that. The Kufuor administration actually went to 7.5%, but that is not to say it is legislation, Mr. Speaker. We have to put it on record. The minority leader said it, that indeed 5% or 7.5%, it is no law, but he was urging that indeed the capping ought to be done, and we go accordingly, Mr. Speaker.
We're taking a break on JoyNews Prime. We'll bring you business news thereafter.
A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to business. Now, Data Protection Commission has begun moves to penalize financial service providers and insurance companies that fail to register their services at the Commission as prescribed under the Data Commissions Act 2012. The law requires all companies collecting data of individuals in their line of operations to register with the Data Protection Commission to ensure safety of their clients' data. However, Executive Director of the Data Protection Commission, Teki Akwete Falconer, has disclosed to Joy Business some microfinance companies and insurance firms have failed to comply.
According to the Data Protection Commission, about 70% of companies in the country are yet to comply with the new regulation passed by Parliament since 2012. She said this phenomenon is likely to impact negatively on customers who utilize such services. Executive Director of the Commission, Teki Akwete Falconer, disclosed that microfinance institutions and insurance companies in the country are worse offenders.
We are prosecuting if for any reason a company feels that they need more time, they should let us know, but as an organization. But as at now, we are only looking at it as they have clearly taken a decision not to respect the tenets of the law.
Who have not complied still?
There may be a few. I think most of the telcos as at now that we are aware of are registered. There may be some communication service providers that are not necessarily telcos that are not registered, but I'm not able to give you the exact name of the companies, but there are several and I must say that most of the commercial banks have registered. Almost all of them have. Those we're having problems with in the financial sector are the insurance companies, the microfinance companies, and the microfinance companies essentially.
She cautioned the general public to acquire the necessary information about such regulations from financial service providers before giving out vital information.
When you're not registered, you are saying that don't trust me with your information. And that is the thing that we are telling members of the public, that if you are going to give out your information, your financial records, or any other thing with any organization, just make sure that they are registered. And it's a simple process. Visit our website, put in the name of the organization. If they are registered, you will know there and then. If they are not, and you already have your information with them, draw their attention. For instance, tell them that you cannot give them your information because you're not sure of how they're going to handle their information. I think when we as customers begin asserting some of these rights under the laws, those who are providing services for us, those who are giving will sit up.
As part of the sensitization mechanisms, the Commission has inaugurated a press corps to help in the efforts of creating awareness of the data protection regulation.
Away from that, President of the Association of Bankers, Al-Hassan Amdani, has disclosed that the government has been able to clear almost 400 million cedis out of the total of energy sector debts owed banks in the country. He said these are payments made as of the end of last month. The about 3 billion cedi debts incurred by power companies nearly crippled commercial banks' operations, as some of them struggled last year to secure credits from banks. But Mr. Amdani tells Joy Business the situation will also compel banks to review credit extension to the sector.
Once the legacy debts are cleared and most of these companies get back to some form of decent operations, the banks that have appetite within the area will find the need to go. But essentially, again, it's because of the restructuring, the deregulation of the sector. So once the deregulation continues to show is holding, and you can make a market sense out of the operations, banks will be happy to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so one would say that you made progress with these MPOs. How are these arrangements going to impact on the MPO? Because it's still a major problem for a lot of the banks and even for industry watchers.
Oh, yes. So, look, the BDCs and the energy sector would alone have been accounting for a little over 50% of that. So once you resolve that, then you're certainly going to see a massive drop in the MPLs. And we still have to see how the December numbers come out, but essentially, by June of this year, most of the companies, most of the MPL positions should be clearer and probably start to trend down more significantly.
Now, this could be a good time to do away with dollars in hand, if not really needed. Experts project the cedi could be stabilizing firmly against the US dollar when it comes to how it's sold by commercial banks. The following Business Desk report looks at why you could be losing out on the exchange rate in the coming days.
Cedi's sharp depreciation against the dollar since December last year presented an opportunity for investors and businesses to strategize so they can lessen the development on their operations. Those who were directly involved in the dollar business sought to engage in some forex hedging so as to minimize the losses. Others also saw this as a good investment opportunity and went out to look for more cedis to buy dollars in order to make some good returns. For instance, around December 2016, about 3 Ghana cedis 90 pesos was required to get $1. Earlier this month, 4 cedis 80 pesos was the amount needed to get $1. So whoever invested in some dollars during this period could be getting a little over 20%, which is quite better than what one can get from other investment instruments on the market. But with the cedi's performance over the past week, things could be normalizing by the end of this month. It could be a good time to get your cedis from your dollar assets so as to lessen the expected losses and not regret going that way.
Now, the Director of Export Marketing at the Department of Trade and Industry in South Africa, Seema Sarda, says her country is looking forward to building a stronger economic partnership with Ghana. This, according to her, is because both countries have yet to tap into potential trade and investment opportunities.
About 20 investors from South Africa are currently in Ghana on an investment mission. The objective is to increase trade and investment and deepen bilateral relations between South Africa and Ghana. The trip will also serve as an ideal opportunity for South African companies to export value-added products and services to Ghana for the penetration of the companies that are looking for investment opportunities in the two countries. Director of Export Marketing at the Department of Trade and Industry in South Africa, Seema Sarda, is leading the mission to Ghana. She spoke to Joy Business at a business networking session.
We're currently sitting at around about 5.2 billion rands in terms of total trade. But I think that we are not doing ourselves justice, because if you look at the vast potential that exists between both of our countries, I think that there's a lot that we can do. There are a number of areas that both the Ghanaian side as well as the South African side have identified as potential areas for cooperation. I think it's very important for me to also emphasize that with Ghana, with Africa as a whole, Africa is at the center of our foreign policy. And for us, growing the economic trajectory of South Africa and Africa is very, very important to us. So in that regard, we look forward to increasing cooperation, increasing our footprint, not only from an export perspective, but more importantly, from an investment perspective in Ghana.
Some of the visiting South African investors spoke with Joy Business.
Conlog is a proudly South African company. We focus, we are an OEM. We manufacture prepaid electricity meters and solutions for Africa, for the rest of the world as well. So our solutions are smart meter systems. The expectation in Ghana is obviously to come back into the market and to introduce our products and solutions into the market.
Ghana, I've heard that it's a very good industry for essential oils, because I actually understand that you actually, farmers here manufacture the actual essential oils, the plant that we extract our essential oils from. So it's a very good market for essential oils. That's why we're coming to see if we can get opportunities from here.
Ghana is among South Africa's top import partners.
That's all in business tonight. For more business stories, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Apoaji.
One of the key hurdles to investments in Ghana in the agriculture sector has been identified as the inability of policymakers to identify reforms that will provide a conducive environment for the sector. One of the initiatives helping in that direction is the U.S. government Global Hunger and Food Security Initiative known as Feed the Future. Mission Director of USAID, Andy Karas, says, among other things, the USAID has established seed laboratories and encouraged technology development programs to help develop agriculture in Ghana.
Ghana, where under the Feed the Future program, on an annual basis, USAID is supporting activity in the agricultural sector on average about $45 million each year. Our work in agriculture is particularly focused in the northern regions, where we're supporting value chain development in rice and maize and soya. We're working very much in alignment and coordination with development partners and, of course, the Ministry of Agriculture. We're very well briefed on the ministry's new plan and strategy, planting for food and jobs. Those are indeed critically important and shared objectives. We know that there are a set of pillars within that plan, and we certainly share the value placed on those pillars. One of them is improving seed quality. USAID is working significantly in this area together with the ministry, specifically with SARI, Research Institute, to improve seed varieties, to improve seed labs. We've established seed laboratories in Upper East and Upper West and the Northern region to signify our very significant investment in the area of seed development. It all starts, as we know, with the seed. Secondly, another pillar under the ministry's plan is, of course, fertilizer, the all-critical input, another area that USAID is supporting. The ministry's priority work is in the area of fertilizer, particularly working with private sector input suppliers, working with other entrepreneurs. For example, an entrepreneur who I just met with recently in Kumasi, who's formulating organic fertilizer for sale. So again, a very important area. And of course, on the policy side, we're well aware of the fertilizer subsidy program. We have a very strong policy project that's working with the ministry to provide the data, the evidence-based data, so that policy determinations can best be made where it comes to input subsidy, where the private sector is working, and to be sure that we're creating that enabling environment for input suppliers, particularly those with inputs as seed and fertilizer, to really do what the private sector does best. And of course, another pillar in the important Planting for Food and Jobs program is relating to technology development and transfer, agricultural extension. Of course, another area we're working in a great deal, we have an ag technology transfer program. Again, working in the north, that's working on different innovative technologies, from improved rice planting and fertilization to any number of other innovative technologies, and transferring those through an outgrower model.
The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Haji Alima Mahama, has assured traders in the whole central market that the location of the 231 lockable stores facility being constructed under the Ghana Urban Management Pilot Project, GUMPP, in the market would be revisited. According to her, it would be unjust to overlook traders in the market when allocating the stores, since their structures were destroyed to pave way for the construction of the facility. Their comments were in response to agitations from the traders lamenting inappropriate allocation of the yet-to-be-completed stores by the whole municipal assembly.
Secondly, Takrade, Kumasi and Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, as well as the whole municipal assembly, are benefiting from the Ghana Urban Management Pilot Project. With a €4 million fund from the French Development Agency, the program is to be implemented in 4 cities to facilitate economic activities to increase internally generated fund. GUMPP also aims to build financial, management and ownership capacities of the beneficiary metropolitan and municipal assemblies, among other benefits. The local government minister, Hajia Alima Mahama, in the company of the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, and his deputy, Maxwell Blagoji, first inspected construction works at the whole central market. According to the contractor, Santa Baron and Bigomen, work on Lot 1 and 2 are 95% and 93.5% complete, respectively. The Lot 3, which consists of a 2-story warehouse, a police station, a fire post and a clinic, which is to serve the whole central market, is said to be about 93% complete. Lot 4 comprises an abattoir at Sokore, and it was constructed at a cost of about 4.3 million cedis. The structure is 100% completed, but needs a cold room facility and slaughtering equipment before it could commence operations. The team then moved to the engineer landfill site at Akrofu. The landfill site and the abattoir have been handed over to the municipal assembly. The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Alima Mahama, was skeptical about the completion of work on Lots 1, 2 and 3 by the end of March. She, however, emphasized that traders who were affected by the demolition exercise would be considered first during the allocation of the stores.
When it comes to allocation of the market stores, those who were there originally must be given the first allocation. Those who were in the market and were relocated must be allocated too. And I'm hoping that the HMA people are there. I'm hoping that you will consider the women for the ground floor and the first floor. Put the women on the ground floor and the first floor for the kind of wares that they have. And those who have other things like materials and all that, they can go to the top floor.
She also urged the assembly to design a perfect operational management plan for the facilities to boost internally generated funds for the assembly.
I'm hoping that the coordinating director is here. The municipal planning officer is here. The landfill, the engineer too is here. This afternoon, they should go back to their desks and start working on the operation and management plan. It's very critical. We've had situations where things have been built and management has been so poor and the facilities just ran down. Or you are not even able to get the income that you require for it. This facility should be able to give the municipal assembly a lot of income.
The Volta Regional Minister, Archibald Lecha, who expressed dissatisfaction at the delay in the completion of the project, hinted his office has already started working to lobby for a phase 2 of the Ghana Urban Management Pilot Project.
We're not happy with the delay in the completion date, and as has been said already, we'll take steps to make sure the contractors finish the job on time by the end of April. And as the minister has requested, I would ensure that we put a management plan in place so that these wonderful investments will be put to good use.
Fred Kwame Asare for JoyNews.
Now, a dilapidated 40-year-old classroom block, which Love News shed light on recently, has collapsed in what could have been a tragedy if school was in session at the PSK MA Primary School in the Asante Mampo municipality. The warning bell started sounding 5 years ago when one child narrowly escaped death when part of the structure which houses primary 1 to 6 fell off while classes was in session. The entire structure collapsed on Sunday, forcing school authorities to hold classes under trees. Authorities say they will have to close the school on a cloudy day. Lava firm Erastus Asaridonko highlighted the plight of the children last month and has paid another visit to the school.
On my first visit to the Patase Sisiase Kokobin PSK MA Primary School, I learned a collapsed part of the classroom block nearly killed this boy.
Well, he says he leaned against the wall that day and then it came tumbling down. But
pupils were still sitting under the dilapidated mud brick structure with visible cracks all over. After a stormy night on Sunday, the whole structure collapsed in what could have been a tragedy if classes were in session. Some of the pupils feel saved by God.
Today we come to school and I saw that the structure has broken. I feel that when we are in that time when it has collapsed and we are learning, it can kill some people, but God has saved us. The time the structure broken, nobody was here learning.
When you study under the tree, how does it affect you?
It affects us when there is rain. We cannot get any place to learn, so that we can close to home. And then when we are coming to do some exercise, we don't have the blackboard to write on it, and we can copy it and correct the answers. We can write it on the paper, and at the same time somebody should read it for us and wrote it.
Now the authorities have no alternative than to divide the classrooms into the number of trees we have here. That tree over there has class 2. The tree under that has class 1. Then we have classes 3, 4, 5, and 6 here under this particular tree. Now there are huge learning problems as this is close to one of the main roads that leads to Yamuase, and so the vehicular noise is here.
Authorities of the PSK MA Primary School say they will have to send the children home on a rainy day. Elvis Atakra is assistant head teacher.
Now it's very difficult. As you can see, the classes are close to each other. So during the teaching and learning, one class is teaching, there's a whole lot of noise. But we have no option. We have to teach it like that. So that is what we are doing. Sure, it's not a classroom, but as soon as it's raining, we have to close down the school and then depart to our various homes. Because we cannot study under raining water. So when it rains, we have to go home.
So for now, what are authorities telling you? Have they been briefed on what is happening here?
Yes, we've informed them. And just this morning, the municipal assembly, they came here and then captured some pictures of the collapsed building. And they are saying that they will put a temporary structure here for the time being for us to study. And
for now, the school waits for help. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Love FM, Kumasi.
Elsewhere, the Parent-Teacher Association of the Akoko Presby Junior High School at Nsawam in the Eastern Region are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, fix the life-threatening 6-unit classroom block in the community. The building, which was constructed some 50 years ago, now trembles with the slightest touch and sports deep and serious cracks. JoyNews' Latif Idris visited the community and reports the dire nature of the building means the pupils now study just outside the rickety building, where they are still vulnerable in the event the building collapses.
At the outskirts of Nsawam is Yakoko, a mainly farming community and a breadbasket for Nsawam and parts of the national capital. Children here, like any other in the country, have the right to education. Where they access that right to education is, however, just as important as the right itself. A case in point is the recent tragedy at Breman Jamra Methodist, where the building that was supposed to be the shelter for the pupils sadly became the trap that crashed and killed 6 kindergarten pupils. Though the tragedy got government to make some commitments, the situation is yet to be comprehensively dealt with. This is the Yakoko Junior High School, a suburb of Nsawam in the Eastern Region. And according to sources here in the school, just a mere touch of the building, and we have experienced that, a mere touch of the building gets the entire block shaken. I would like to just demonstrate to you how perilous the situation is by just pulling out this block from the entire building. Now you have the gaping hole here, and this tells you how dangerous the school building is for both the teachers and the pupils of Yakoko Junior High School. Some parents have already pulled their children out of the school for fear of being killed if the building comes tumbling. Teachers here, however, have no other option but to move the pupils out of the school block to study under this shed situated directly opposite the weak building, still exposing them to the threat as a good number of the pupils play in the building during break time. You feel safe here? On the rain is falling. So you don't feel safe here too? The parents tell me they feel nervous anytime the children leave home to attend school.
We have reported the situation to the authorities on several occasions, but they have failed to fix the situation. There are no iron rods in the entire structure, and I must say that anytime my grandchildren go to the school, I get so nervous. We want government to come and fix it before any tragedy happens.
The walls are cracked, and when you touch it, it shoots. So the roof has also been ripped off by winds. It poses danger because so far as I'm concerned, when it rains, the whole building shakes, and that, as it happened some time back, just yesterday or 2-3 days ago, if care is not taken, the whole building can collapse on the students.
The assembly member of the Yakoko electoral area, Richard Lai, tells me effort to remove the waiting tragedy has not yielded positive results as the assembly continues to drag its feet.
Being assemblyman, I've moved a step to the district assembly. I gave the complaint to the coordinating director, and the day he told me the third day he will send the engineers to come and prepare a report on the school. And since then, about a month ago, no one has come from the assembly.
A stitch in time, they say, saves 9. It's either authorities fix the situation or another tragedy may just befall the nation. Latif Idris, Joy News, Yakoko, Eastern Region.